What is up, guys? So the new poster for Elseworlds has been released and it is insane. So I know this video is a little late for this poster reveal, mainly because I did have to get my Arrow Season 7 Episode 1 review out before I did this video. So if you want to check out that video, if you haven't, link will be in the top right corner of the video. But getting into this poster, this is crazy. It confirms a lot of things. Obviously, the main thing it confirms from this poster, if you haven't seen it, this is the poster. You have Oliver Queen wearing the Flash costume and Barry Allen wearing the Green Arrow costume. One thing I'd say about this poster is that just looking at Oliver Queen in the Flash costume, I think first of all Barry Allen in the Green Arrow costume looks really unusual, really weird, and obviously it's supposed to be unusual, it's supposed to be weird, but I just think that Stephen Amell in the Flash costume doesn't look weird at all. It kind of looks like, honestly, he looks more like Barry Allen from the comics than Grant Gustin ever did. One thing I would say, that's not a complaint against Grant Gustin's casting. I think that was great casting. I think that he looks enough like Barry Allen to really justify the casting in terms of the fact that his personality is just like Barry Allen. So he would have been a much better Barry Allen than Stephen Amell would have been. That's obvious. All I'm saying is that Stephen Amell in the Flash costume actually doesn't look weird. He kind of looks like he would be a good version of the Flash, but this is what this poster reveals. It's that we will see a version of Barry Allen that is the Green Arrow from a different universe, and a version of Oliver Queen that is the Flash from a different universe as well. And that's the obvious thing that it reveals, just going off the fact that it shows it on the poster. And by the way, this was once a meme. I remember a couple of years ago there was a meme going around. I think it was around Arrow Season 4 and The Flash Season 2. Around that crossover, there was a poster, there's a picture of them together, and then what people would do is switch their faces with their costumes. So it would look like Oliver Queen is wearing the Flash costume, and Barry Allen is wearing the Green Arrow costume, and then they would say, like, my name is Oliver Queen, and I'm the fastest man alive, or my name is Barry Allen, and you have failed the city, or something like that. That was a meme. I feel like that might have at least a little bit inspired this crossover. I don't think it intentional. I think it definitely didn't inspire it, like the concept, but I think this poster might have been a little bit inspired by that meme where they switched faces. Either way, it was a meme at what point, and now they're doing it for real in a crossover. But the thing that it reveals that isn't too obvious is that they are very much delving into this concept of Elseworlds. Now, that might be obvious from the name Elseworlds, but usually I feel like the Arrowverse shows, when they take a title from the comics, not only the Arrowverse shows, but really the MCU as well, they take a title from the comics, they don't really delve into the comic book entirely. That's not always a bad thing. In fact, in the MCU, I would say it's most of the time definitely a positive when they don't go crazy into the comic books, and they take what is good and they take out what is bad. And that's why the MCU movies that are based off comic book storylines are usually so good, like The Winter Soldier or Infinity War or etc. But the Arrowverse crossovers, usually like Invasion, have really nothing to do with the comic book version of Invasion. There are similarities, obviously, the villains, the Dominators, and even the Dominators' motivations, but other than that, there's honestly nothing to do with the two. And I think Elseworlds really delving into the wackiness of what they can do with every version of these two characters, or really the 5 characters that are the main characters of this crossover in the other universes, could be pretty insane. If you don't know the 5 characters that are being focused on this crossover, Stephen Amell said that they are Oliver Queen, Barry Allen, Clark Kent, aka Superman, Supergirl, as well as Batwoman, which to me sounds like a pretty awesome Justice League for this crossover. And I think that each one of those characters, especially obviously Barry Allen and Oliver Queen, who are the figureheads of this universe, are going to have like 20 or 30 versions of their character in this crossover fighting the Monitor, who, yeah, I know is not a villain in the comics, but he is the villain of this crossover, and honestly, I'm very excited about that. I think he could be a very good villain for the Arrowverse. In terms of something that I wanted to see for a while was Earth 38 and Earth 1 be merged in this universe. Maybe the Monitor, what he's trying to do is correct the multiverse by merging the two universes, making him not the villain, but it might kill a lot of people in the process, so the Arrowverse characters have to stop them. Maybe they fail, which I wouldn't be against, because I do want to see those two universes merge, but I think that, again, the Monitor could be a good villain for this crossover. But getting back to the point, these characters, specifically Barry Allen and Oliver Queen, will probably have a lot of doppelgangers and counterparts in this crossover that will appear to fight the Monitor. The reason I know that, other than this poster, which teases that, Stephen Amell said on Twitter that he had more fittings for this crossover than he had for the pilot. If by fittings I mean that he had more costume tests. Like, he will have a lot of costumes in this crossover, teasing the fact that he has a lot of counterparts that obviously fits into this poster and the title of this crossover. Also, you see these set photos of Oliver Queen and Barry Allen wearing the same cowboy outfit, which, who knows, maybe that's another version of these characters from another universe. Also, in those set photos, you see a black suited Superman. I made a video about these set photos. Link will be in the top right corner of the video as well. But these characters, basically, this probably confirms that Superman also has a counterpart, which means that these 5 characters, Barry Allen, Oliver Queen, Clark Kent, Kara Danvers, and Kate Kane, will probably all have counterparts from these other universes who will be wacky, crazy versions of themselves, specifically a Barry Allen who is Green Arrow and a Oliver Queen who is the Flash, or an Oliver Queen and Barry Allen who are cowboys with a Clark Kent who is probably maybe evil, or just maybe he just came back from the dead from fighting Doomsday. I don't know, but I think this concept in this poster is kind of insane. The fact that they're actually doing this at the same time as introducing Superman to the Arrowverse, and at the same time as introducing Batwoman and Gotham City and that whole universe, is kind of insane. I don't even know if they can handle all that in just 3 episodes, but if they can, then it will be the most epic crossover ever. I'm not done talking with about this poster because there is the tagline, "Destiny will be rewritten," which I think is very interesting. Also, I think that before I talk about that, the editing of this poster is a little amateurish. I think that they just took a picture of Barry Allen in the Green Arrow suit, a picture of Stephen Amell in the Flash suit, and they just used a fade effect and they just made it look like that. It looks a little lazily done. Also, would have loved to see Batwoman, Superman, and Supergirl in this crossover to really solidify those 5 characters. That being said, it's just a poster and I have nothing to complain about because it is pretty awesome. But the tagline, "Destiny will be rewritten," I think has a very big impact. I think will have a very big impact on this crossover. So the question is, does this have to do with time travel? Because usually when you have Destiny and you rewrite Destiny, as in changing the timeline, rewriting the timeline, it usually has to do with time travel. I don't think there will be any time travel in this crossover, probably just because it will be too overbloated. I already said this crossover has to introduce Superman to the Arrowverse, introduce Batwoman and the entire Gotham City universe. I know it's not a universe, I mean that whole world, and introduce, or not introduce, but have this whole storyline of Elseworlds, as well as introduce all these different counterparts and doppelgangers. That has a lot on its table, and throwing time travel in there will be a little too much. Also, basically every season in the Arrowverse right now is dealing with time travel. You have The Flash with Barry Allen's daughter. You have Legends of Tomorrow, who is obviously always dealing with time travel. You have Arrow, who has this 20-year later time jump, or flash forward, or might connect to the present day. We don't know yet, but who knows, that might be time travel as well. Supergirl is really the only show which has no time travel in it at this point, even though I'm pretty sure in the finale of season 3 she did time travel. But anyway, I don't think this crossover will have any time travel in it. So the question is, what does Destiny will be rewritten actually mean? Well, I honestly have no idea. I think it would be one of 2 things. I honestly have no basis in these 2 things. It's just theories really based off nothing. One thing is that it could be hinting at a villain named Dr. Destiny, who some people, not a lot of people, but some people have theorized could appear in this crossover. I at one point theorized he could be the main villain of a season of Legends of Tomorrow, and I think he still can. Probably won't be this season, but who knows, it might be referring to Dr. Destiny. The thing against that is that there is really no reason for Dr. Destiny to appear in this crossover, just because they already have a main villain, and they're probably going to use more Batman villains, and he has faced off against Batman. He is not a Batman villain strictly, so I don't think he is being referenced to here with this tagline. Really, I think it could just be a tagline, because a lot of posters just have taglines and they just sound cool for the sake of sounding cool. But at the same time, I feel like it might also mean something. Maybe it means that Destiny, as in the destiny of the multiverse, will be rewritten. I said earlier in this video that I think Earth 1 and Earth 38 might and should merge in this crossover, but who knows, maybe the entire multiverse will be destroyed in this crossover. I think that this crossover is at least a little bit inspired by Crisis on Infinite Earths, and if you don't know, at the end of that crisis, the entire multiverse is destroyed and it all becomes one universe. They did that to really simplify the multiverse, the DC universe, to make it more simple for new comic book readers. They have brought back the multiverse, they have destroyed it and brought it back again and again, but the point is, this crossover is definitely at least a little bit inspired by that storyline, because they are using the Monitor, who is one of the big characters from the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline. It's possible that by the end of this crossover, the entire multiverse will be destroyed, and honestly, I wouldn't be against that. Just going off their what they're doing with this crossover, after this crossover, there will be absolutely nothing they can do with the multiverse. There will be no point to the multiverse at that point. Like, what can they do after they did Crisis on Earth X? Then they're doing Elseworlds. After that, there's absolutely nothing they can do with the multiverse. At this point, I would retire the multiverse. It doesn't really add anything to the Arrowverse after this crossover. So at this point, if this crossover gets rid of the multiverse, I wouldn't be against that. I would much prefer for all these superheroes to be on the same universe, maybe all be in different cities, just to make this one universe feel bigger, because at this point, this one universe, Earth 1, is really just Star City and Central City, and if all these characters from the multiverse were all on this one Earth, I think that would be a lot better, and this Elseworlds crossover could accomplish that. So anyway, let me know what you think about this poster in the comments down below, and if you like this video, definitely make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.